Hello everybody, my name is Gentle Page, and today we'll be looking at LEGO Star Wars set number 75283 Armored Assault Tank, or AAT. The set came out in 2020 if I'm not mistaken, and it retailed for €40, but you can find it for 30 at a time, and 35 is like more around where you'll get it. I got mine for 30, new in box. Well, it was secondhand technically, but it was new in box. So I got mine fairly cheap, and I have some things to say about this one. I will do a small comparison to the original one, and I will have a video of a comparison with both of them eventually. But first of all, let me get into the 4 minifigures. And here we have the 4 minifigures. We have the 332nd Trooper. We have 2 AT-AT Driver Troopers, or Battle Droids, and we have an Ahsoka Tano. Let me start with the star of the show, the 332nd Trooper. First of all, this is like a really beautiful design, as you can see on the top of the head. I have to pick up my phone. You can see its design. It's really great. It's like a trooper which looks really cool, and I'm happy that I have this trooper. Although I don't like that it's just one of them in the set. They should have at least introduced 2 of them. And as for the head, you have the newer clone head, which is one I really like as a face. I like it better than any of the older clone heads. But still, I do quite like the Phase 2 Clone Trooper helmets, and this, for prints, it's one of the better ones. So it is exclusive to the set, and I doubt it will come in any other set. Although I would like it to at least get like a battle pack or something. But that's enough for the greatest minifigure. Let's go on to Ahsoka. So for Ahsoka, it's the last season of Clone Wars variant of hers, so that's why she has the blue lightsabers and the blue torso and everything. Some minor gripes I have for this figure is that the Leku, the headdress piece, it's first of all, it's bigger than it should be. It's the size of the Rebels variant, but they aren't this tall yet, or this long yet. And that crown piece is way too high up. It should be lower, and they can print all the way to the edge, as you can see with the Leku. But it is still quite a nice piece. Let's take it off to get a look at the torso printing. It's really stuck. I will have to put it on off camera. That's better. It was a rubbery piece, so it was stuck on pretty tight. For the face print, it's a really good face print. Both of them. Also the torso printing. I do believe that, except for, well, the size of the headdress piece of the Leku, it's a pretty great figure to have. It's an amazing figure to have, and it's a pretty great rendition of the figure. Let's put it back on, and I'll put the sabers later. But still, that's a little bit of a gripe I have. Nothing much. And they released it again in the Dual Mandalore set, which I don't have. I will probably get eventually. Slightly delayed, but that makes my reason to buy this set a lot worse. But I'll get into that. Let's go on to both of the battle droids. And they're exactly the same, so I'll just look at one of them. They have like a olive green torso print, or torso color, some printing on the head, and they have a gunmetal gray blaster, which is nice to get at least like a different variant. But as for droids, they're like pretty pretty usual. Nothing much except for like that it's like the Chic variant or the AAT driver variant. But let's go on to the build, which is right here. And it is like quite small. Like, I don't know if it should be this small, but I think it's a little bit, maybe slightly too small. But it's not bad. It's in my opinion, it's a better build than the original one, and yeah, it's just a little bit more rounder, a little bit so kind of less accurate. Also, I have seen some videos where they say that this blaster is way too long, like it should be shorter, and yeah, I can see that, but I'm not that bothered by that. Just like the position on this blaster, that's just a screw up of Lego, where they put the wrong one, and them in the wrong orientation. But it's still a pretty great build. And let's go on to some features that you'll see. First of all, you have some places for spring-loaded shooters, and let me just get some to show the action itself. So here you have these gray parts, and I'll probably knock over my sign here, but if you press it down, you will shoot. And the other also has one. And it's pretty great, it's pretty hidden. And like I had with at the beginning, I didn't have it included, and you probably didn't even notice, which is pretty great. Also, it doesn't look bad without them or with them. And for these turrets, you can move them up and down. The big turret, you can move it up and down like way crane-necked, way too far up as it should be, but still fine. And you can move it all the way across, which I don't know if it's accurate, but it's fun to do. It is, however, a bit annoying that when you have it like at the same position as the older one, and it can move further. But let's go on to the top, where here on the top you have a small ledge, where it's like just enough space to put like a one of those AAT drivers of the battle droids, where you can put him. I'm putting him in without his gun, and if you fold his neck down, you can fit him in without you ever noticing. I don't really know why I would do that, because battle droids are a pretty scarcity. Well, they're not released in masses, so displaying it with one fully inside, I don't get that. I'll just use them as spare troops. Nothing really much in there. You also have this ledge on the front, which you can open up, and you have two console pieces. If you watch the speed build, you will probably see that I put them in incorrectly, but nothing really much. Maybe I even put them on, well, it doesn't really matter. But you can see there are two control panels, and it's also big enough space to put, again, one of the droids, and two, if it wants to work with me. I have him leaning fairly forward, and then you can close it back up. Now, there it is. And you can also, in unintentional feature, I guess, where you can move these about. But let's quickly compare it to the older one, and then go on to my final thoughts. And here we have them both next to each other. You can see the size difference. That's the first apparent thing. This one is bigger, and it's not only higher, it also is bigger in like every way, every dimension. And well, it's based on the same design. So there are some gripes I have with them, and there are some good things I want to say about both of them. I will put out a comparison, a real comparison, later, probably today even. And just a quick comparison. But let's go into my final thoughts. So, for my final thoughts, it's a good set to buy, and it's a double-edged sword. Where, on the one hand, I do believe that this set is better to get than the older one. It'll probably cost you cheaper to buy them, And yeah, I believe the build is better to, well, army build technically, to build, like, to get more of them. You get more of the same ones, you get more of the troopers, more of the droids. You also get a lot of Ahsoka, which is but it's the same to be said with the Yoda figure. And on that hand, I say this set is better. It's easy to get a hold of right now. But compared to the older one, yeah, I don't know if you should get this one. Don't make the mistake I did, where if you already have the older one, you don't need this one. You don't need it. For one exclusive clone trooper and one figure that comes out um, on the later in another set, that came out in another set, which is cheaper, by the way. So I don't think that is a good buy if you already have the older one. If you don't, then it's a great buy. But that's the one thing I have to say. If I knew that the dual Mandalore set would be coming out, where it has the exact same version of an Ahsoka Tano, then I wouldn't have bought this set. I still believe it's a great set to have, but it's maybe not the best buy once you already have the older version. But more on that on the comparison video. But for the price, it's a bit expensive. So like at 30, 35 maybe even pushing it, then it will be a great set. But that's it for this for my review. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please make sure to leave a like down below, maybe even comment and subscribe while you're at it. And check out the speed build of this video and of the older version. Also, the review of the older version is up here, and I also have some other videos where you can check them out. And I want to see you in the next video. Goodbye.